I had basically decided to stop doing these ex-vegan videos. They didn't quite get enough traffic to really be worth my time. But I did receive this comment, and if it helps even a few people, maybe it's worth making this video. We'll know in the future. But I made a video called Ex-Vegan 5.5 Years, Why I'm Now a Kosher Pescatarian. And our friend John P. asked me this question, quote, has the eczema come back or no? I'd love to be vegan to help my inflammation, end quote. So yes, I became a vegan because it made my eczema go away. And he's asking, now that I've returned back to no longer being vegan, has it made my eczema come back? And I will say this, in the process of leaving the vegan lifestyle, it was important to me to remain kosher. I've been kosher for over a decade, well over a decade. But I accidentally stumbled into some things that weren't quite kosher. For example, catfish. I had some fish tacos. I didn't realize it was catfish. And also tuna, which my understanding is tuna in itself is kosher, but tuna, especially in modern times, contains a lot of mercury. And therefore, that caused my eczema to start coming back. Now, the moment I realized it and stopped eating tuna and made sure not to have catfish again, then it was fine. So here's what I would say. If you have eczema, Dyshidrotic eczema in particular, like I have, that I apparently have, but that remains in remission as long as I eat the right things, here's what I can tell you. I would say if you're not vegan and you want to get rid of eczema, based on what I know now, here's what I would tell you. Just ultimately look at the Bible, look at what the Jewish people were known as kosher, and look that up in the Bible and see what basically you're allowed to eat and what you're not able to eat. But basically, to simplify it, don't eat pork, anything from a pig, don't eat it. And shellfish, don't eat. That's the easiest way to explain it, but ultimately the Bible specifies what animals are clean and which ones are unclean. For me, it's not an arbitrary definition of this. It is very obvious that the unclean animals are the bottom feeders, the ones at the bottom of the food chain, eating all of the waste and dead bodies of other animals. And therefore, if you eat those animals, you're more likely to have toxins and certain types of, in the case of shellfish, certain types of metals, which cause my skin to react. So for me personally, I think it was meant to be that I just needed to always abide by the kosher law. And for me and my health and me not having eczema. So to answer your question, did it come back? Only when I stumbled off of the kosher course. But as long as I remain true to that, seems to be fine. And also, I'm definitely not drinking milk. That's another thing. I'm eating cheese, but I'm not drinking milk. There's a difference between cheese and milk, and my body knows the difference. And also, it's kept my sinuses from acting up again. So that's my answer. I love talking about this. I don't know how relevant it will prove to be in the year 2019, but I'm happy to try to help anyone through this. Do I think you need to become a vegan to get rid of your eczema? No. I'm going to recommend that you go kosher, don't drink milk, and stay away from processed sugar, because I have noticed that even as a vegan, if I were to just really overdose on sugar, it would start to flare up. But that's kind of common sense that you don't want to be eating a lot of added sugar anyway. So then you would maybe just keep that in mind, like for example with types of breads which may have a lot of added sugar, that sort of thing. You'd want to be aware of that. So that's my answer. I think if you could be strict about remaining kosher, becoming and remaining kosher, I think there's a good chance, and stay away from the sugar, I think there's a good chance that you'll see a major difference just from those things alone. And that was the thing. All those years being a vegan, I speculated that it wasn't all animal products that were the problem, that it was certain ones. But I didn't want to have to figure it out. I thought if I had already cut out pork and shellfish for years by that point. But then once I went all the way on that, then that's when it completely cleared up. But I think by me clearing out drinking milk is probably, and also watching my sugar intake, my added sugar intake, probably is what made the difference. So that's my version of reality. That's where I would suggest starting. instead of going all the way to being vegan. Start there, see where that gets you. And if we want to talk more about this, there's a comment section that determines if I make more of these ex-vegan videos. I'm glad you asked. Let's keep the conversation going right here.